Hello, everyone. So often we bring our practices at least in the yoga that I've taught at Sun and Moon Yoga Studio, the way we've taught, we bring our practices to a close with a bell. And I like the idea of opening with a bell as well. Thanks for being here. My name is Alex Levin. Welcome to my sunroom. We call it the sunroom. It's got big windows all around. It does have air conditioning streaming in, and so launching into the theme of preparedness. I made enough time this morning, I think, to get prepared. I've got the cushion for my knee. I've got a shawl to throw over me if the air conditioning is blowing too much. I've got my book I'm hoping to read from. So let's get started. And one note of business. Last week, my connection was floundering and I re-recorded. I've deleted that video. We were losing our internet. There was a connection out on the street that wasn't working. So we've got that back. Hopefully we have a steady connection today. So I've got a little book by my bed that maybe you've read, In Search of Meaning by Viktor Frankl. I've heard of it. I know familiar with some quotes from it, but I have never actually read it. So maybe if I can put down my fiction, my fun fiction, I'll pick it up. But I chanced on a short video of an interview with him, and so I'm inspired today by some of his ideas. Um, so the title of this episode is called "In Search of Meaning." One more business item or more of a public service announcement to just do check with on our website, sunandmoonstudio.com. This dear community to me for now 23 years or so, or 24 years, maybe more, has so much to offer virtually and here locally in Northern Virginia. So check out what we've got and a lot of different kinds of yoga, several opportunities for meditation. This one with me on Sundays, but then available on YouTube. Chris Christine Clardy is now going to host the Wednesday evening Dharma talk. I'm not sure what they're still calling it now. 7 o'clock, I think it's 7 local time. It'll be on Zoom, so you do need to register for it, but that will also be available. I don't know if it'll be available free on YouTube as it has been, but we'll see. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be by donation, so whatever you can offer. As is Jackie's Friday morning at 8 o'clock. Fridays at 8 o'clock Eastern time, half an hour then. Zoom call. So you do register for that, but it's by donation. So let's get started. Um, um, a little bit of movement to ground us and get us going. Little movements. And today I'll guide you through a very, very simple movement that if you've practiced yoga, you've done gazillions of times, often called cat and cow, or maybe we'll do all 6 directions just real quickly, but luxuriously. So let's arrive. Could feel myself revving as I'm sharing. It's a tendency in me, and possibly you have that too. It's kind of part and parcel of modern day living, the revving. And once we begin to notice that that's what's happening with us so often and perhaps draining our energy, over or riding waves of adrenaline, we can do something about it. We can pause, we can shift, we can take the gears down a notch. And sometimes in that pause, we can discern discern things that might be tangled up and causing a stuckness. And by untangling and differentiating, we can get a clarity and we can move more freely toward whatever it is we're intending to go toward. So now you're joining me in intention, I believe, of arriving, of sensing, not only just kind of quick knowing, but truly, fully sensing being present right here through sensing the ground, through our body, bones, the skin, the flesh that's all innervated, feels the weight of me pulled downward, like hugged toward toward earth. As I observe, just watch that like I'm watching a beautiful sunset, sky, or watching my pets sleep. Helps me to enter into this here now place, to fully arrive, to bring all parts of me, like bringing my body here. It's already here, but acknowledging its here-ness helps to bring my mind fully here. And I'm in this doing of this, breath becomes palpable, more palpable. And perhaps notice that your focus is more easily right here where you are, at your center, in your being, in your body. And that right here is constantly changing, and yet it has its own infinitude of being right here. And even as we stay with our focus easily, without gripping, without furrowing the brow, there's an ease in being right here. We can also feel how we receive so easily, effortlessly sound. The sound of the fan is in the sort of in the foreground of the surroundings for me. And then just beyond that is some chirping of birds outside. Beyond that, I hear occasional rumbling of vehicles on the streets. From here, I'm going to invite us to just imagine that we start coming into what's often called the cat-cow movement. And by the way, you could be doing this practice lying down. You could even do it on your back, on your side. You could do it sitting in a chair. Could even be doing it standing. All of it. Just imagine that you're lengthening the front body, coming into it's what we call an extension of the spine. Just imagine, and your body might go into the beginnings of doing it. That's okay. Keep breathing freely and then imagining the rounding of the back, lengthening of the back body to where we're almost delineating like a circle in this central plane. And then actually do it. Doesn't have to be a lot. I find this funny, these terms, a cat's spine goes in so many directions, but this is sort of, sometimes we say it's the angry cat. It's kind of the scared and the hissing cat when it arches its back. And then the cow that sort of has the belly that's dropping if you're on the all fours position. So from a seated position, well, yeah, you could do this from all fours. You could be joining this practice from like a child's pose. Any orientation that works for you today. Just a couple movements and then come back to center and fully arriving. Notice how you know yourself. Notice how you feel yourself. How you know that you're here. And then let's take a side opening movement and uh, let's take one arm, let's take both arms up. Take both arms up and just imagine that you're bending to one side, then bending, coming back to center, and bending to the other. And there might be some twitching, some little bit of action happening, and that's all good news that the nervous system is working well. And then actually join in to the intention. Eyes can be open or closed. Breathing freely, making it delicious, harmonious, and perhaps noticing what ways you're thinking or you're assessing mind, which is that's its job. It's going to be doing that most of the time. How it contributes, what comments might be made, what observations. And then back to center. Pausing here and feeling for what's new. And that's another thing that the nervous system, the mind and peripheral nervous system, all of the nervous system is really good at is comparing. And we don't even have to sometimes, like when you are in the thinking mind and you compare, you're like, how was this compared to last time? It's something more holistic than that, more uh, body, heart, mind combined. And often it's linked to the eyes, but if you would close your eyes and go more into textural sensing, even including smell and taste, and even hearing, there's a vibrational quality there. And two more directions to complete the six directions. So let's imagine it first. And this is a powerful practice. Maybe next week I'll talk about that imagination. Uh, Imagine yourself twisting to the right, coming back to center, upper body twisting to the left. And I can feel my body slightly going as I do that, but you can, in a way, restrain the movement and just feel the imagery of it. And then join in, letting the arms join however that feels interesting for you. Letting my hands slide along the ground and my legs. Breathing in a way that is easy and or complements your movement. Eyes perhaps open and moving just with the twist, or perhaps going a little deeper into the turn in each direction. Excuse me. And then coming back to center. And perhaps as you just arrive here again, just this little bit of moving may have landed you right into a place where you feel that you're ready for the stillness. The body is already moved toward stillness. And you might be just in the right shape for meditation, or over the next minute or so, as I segue us there, uh, you might just slowly shift and gather what you need, as what I'll be doing to support my knee and put my pelvis up on a little lift. So minimally changing the position to just what you need. And so, in search of meaning, the little bit I'm gleaning from the interview with Viktor Frankl, who is a Holocaust survivor, is that it's the primary motivation for humans is meaning. And this appears to be in contrast with another theory where pleasure is the primary one. So I have yet to learn about that. But let's just stay with this, if not only primary, one of the key motivators for us humans. And so we're organized so as to find and fulfill meaning. And yet, he also says that and so meaning to maybe create something, or to contribute to the world, to um, ride that impulse of creativity, of participation in the world. And he also says that we can also find meaning simply in being. So this dovetails with that Zen phrase of always being, and yet always becoming. Both are ongoingly happening. And so as you take the last few moments to get ready for your seat, your stillness, the meditation portion, I'll read you, you've heard this before from me, Billy Collins' poem, Aimless Love, that I think it, for me, there's drama, little scenes going on here, dramatic scenes, they also capture, he so fully captures these moments of simply being. This morning, as I walked along the lake shore, I fell in love with a wren, and later in the day with a mouse. The cat had dropped under the dining room table. In the shadows of an autumn evening, I fell for a seamstress, still at her machine in the tailor's window, and later for a bowl of broth, steam rising like smoke from a naval battle. This is the best kind of love, I thought, without recompense, without gifts or unkind words, without suspicion or silence on the telephone. The love of the chestnut, the jazz cap, and one hand on the wheel. No lust, no slam of the door. The love of the miniature orange tree, the clean white shirt, the hot evening shower, the highway that cuts across Florida. No waiting, no huffiness, no rancor, just a twinge every now and then for the wren who built her nest on a low branch overhanging the water, and for the dead mouse still dressed in its light brown suit. But my heart is always propped up in a field on its tripod, ready for the next arrow. After I carried the mouse by the tail to a pile of leaves in the woods, I found myself standing at the bathroom sink, gazing down affectionately at the soap. So patient and soluble, so at home in its pale green soap dish. I could feel myself falling again as I felt its turning in my wet hands and caught the scent of lavender and stone. And so let's begin about 7 minutes of sitting together. Last adjustments of your pose. Could be lying down, could be in a chair, could be in child's pose. That'd be a long child's pose. Just again scanning the evidences, the physical evidence of being here. What is Christine's mantra? Seat, feet, hands, eyes, I think. The breath showing the uprightness possible. And a little sub intention of relaxing. And stillness is as one of the main intentions. Simply resting as being in stillness and silence. returning again and again as inevitably mind might wander, body might wander. We can't help but notice. That's the nature of our being. But sometimes we forget we're noticing and observing and acknowledging those basics. Even giving these words to describe being is already what Rupert Spira says, making concessions to its no qualities. But it's helpful for us as long as we know that it's not the essence of it. So sometimes we're lost in a mind stream somewhere. And sometimes we're in it and we're aware we're in it. Like I was just watching my dog jump from the couch to closer to the blueberries over by the computer, maybe cooler on the floor. And I was commenting about his position, his tail. And then I just come back. And in that little jaunt, you can notice, did you give yourself a grade, a lower grade, because you weren't quote unquote meditating? The invitation is to loosen the grip on that and just sense the meaning that is here in being. A few more breaths. Thank you for joining me for this practice, this precious practice. So it fuels us to continue to again and again come to what's the only true thing, the only true place, not the past or the future, but to the right here. And there are elements that inform us, but uh, come right here, we start to see more and more clearly that that being that is always, 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 always what we are and right here and balances out. For the more we know that is true, we can work with the meaning that we're working toward and building and refining. So, yeah, thank you so much for joining me and coming back and so on, coming in later. And we'll be here together next week again. Ciao, ciao. Peace. Oh, thank you, Sandra. Thank you for being here today. And those of others of you who are here live, someone else is here too, I think. And all those of you who watch later, I wonder, Linda, if you're out there, if you're still in Hawaii or New Mexico or where you are. And Catherine, I think you might be there. Tell me if you're here. Put something in the chat. I'll linger another moment if you have the ability to do that. And you can also email me at aLex@sunandmoonstudio.com. Thanks again. Peace.